basically, I am on days off at the moment, my 4 days off, but I waited for the other half to come home, waited for her to go to bed before I left. So that's about 11, half 11, and to be honest, the weather was horrendous trying to get here. I had to go about 40 mile an hour most of it, and there's quite a lot of it is de-restricted, so it was a massive reduction in speed, basically due to the real heavy rain. And there was like a misty fog coming off the road because of the temperature difference in the rain to the road surface temperature. So there was this sort of misty fog coming up off of the road, so the visibility was awful. There's quite a few bits as well where the road was nearly covered in water. I nearly aquaplaned a couple of times. I can tell you it was a bit of a touching cloth bloody moment. One of the times, bloody, I thought it was going to come off the road. But I managed to get here without dying, so that was a good start. Anyway, yeah, it's about sort of 1ish, just after 1 when I turned up. There were a few cars in the car park, but I just chucked all the stuff on the bar. It was raining, just chucked it on the bar and just made my way up. Thought there's a couple of swims that I know were worth a go, so I kind of barred my way up. One of the swims was free, but it's right in between 2 other anglers, so I didn't really fancy that. So I come up to this end, and I'm fishing up on this point bit. I don't know really what this bit's called. I call it the spit, but I don't know if it's actually got a name. I'm sure it has, but I call it a spit anyway. But yeah, anyway, I've lost a fish from here. My last proper session on here, actually, I lost a fish out of this swim. The line managed to catch her in the back of the weed bed, so it dropped off. But yeah, so anyway, I put a bit of bait out there. The fish have recently spawned. The weather's gone really carpy. As you can see, it's overcast. There's quite a bit of rain in the air, and it's very warm. So it looks perfect for them to get their heads down. So I decided to put a bit of bait in. So I put about 12, maybe 15 spoms over the spot, like medium-sized ones. So I'd say it's probably a kilo, maybe a kilo and a bit. A sort of hemp and boilie really, a little bit of corn, not too much. Yeah, basically that's pretty much what I've done, and I've just got the two soft hinge rigs out there, like subtle hinge rigs I use out on there. I don't know if you can see the indicator on the left-hand rod. If you zoom it in a bit, you can probably see the indicator is down there. That's because I keep getting done by birds. So yeah, I keep getting done by the birds. So basically, it's one on there at the moment diving. But this morning, I got up. I woke up after having a bit of a liner on the left rod, I think it was. Yeah, I woke up and sort of had a coffee and that, woke myself up, and then a fish boshed to my left. There's a bay to my left, and a fish boshed out. Sounded like a good fish, so I decided to go and have a quick scout down there and have a little mooch around, and I found some fish up under a tree, and I ended up doing a bit of stalking basically. So I did about an hour, maybe hour and a half stalking, just with the old sawn off and some bread. I say bread, it was actually some muffin I'd managed to dig out of the food bag. Unfortunately, I messed up the opportunity where a couple of the fish had sucked it in, and I managed to strike and miss them, so that was a bit gutting. I felt like I'd spooked them a bit as well, so I decided to leave the spot and come back to the main area, and I basically re-wrapped up, put the rods up on the spot, and I've been here since for the past sort of hour, I suppose. But I put a little bit more bait on that margin spot where I missed the opportunity. So I decided to put a bit of bait out there, just some broken up boilies really, and I'm going to go and have a look in a minute, seeing if anything's had a little look, but might make it a bit easier to catch them if I can get them feeding like that, so I can put out a bottom bait and just lay it down on the ground and stand back then and just wait for it to go. So, but as you can see, the birds just diving out in the area, so it looks like there's still bait out there, so it doesn't look like it's been maybe it's been visited that much. It seems to be diving quite a bit. They have picked up the up bait a bit as well, so I'm not sure, but I will top the bait up a little bit later, give it another little bit of bait just to supplement it, because obviously they're grazing on it quite a bit. And that's about it really. It looks good for a bite. I'm surprised nothing will happen, to be honest, so we'll see what happens, and hopefully we will have something to show for the camera. So I couldn't resist but going back to the margin spot. As you can see here, I'm just checking the rig over. I'm using my standard helicopter drop off, the quarter drop off system, and I'm using a stiff fluorocarbon hook length D-rig style, which is my standard rig nowadays. Sort of gone back to what I used to use back in the day, sort of 10-15 years ago, when sort of stiff filament and amnesia was sort of all the rage. I used to use stiff hook links back then, and I've kind of brought them in to my fishing the last sort of 12 months, maybe 18 months, as a lot of people use the coated braids nowadays. But anyway, as you can see, I overcast it and just draw it down over the area, let it land nice and softly so it doesn't get hung up in anything. And I'm just sinking a line just to get it down, not really out of the way as such, but just to get it sort of sunk below the surface, so it doesn't get any wind sort of moving it around, lifting it up off the bottom, so it's even more obvious. And then I've slackened it off a little bit, loosened the clutch, just so the line basically hangs limp off the rod top. Probably not really flush against the bottom, but if anything comes near, passes through the line, it's not going to be torn and sort of brush alongside it and spook it essentially. So the slack line means the fish can sort of pass through it and not sort of find it too sort of unusual. I do think sometimes around the snags they're used to brushing against stuff, so it's not such an issue, but just be on the safe side. I then find this lump of wood, carefully sort of put on the back of the rod butt. That's a bit of a counteract weight. Obviously with the angle with the front rod vest, I thought if I get a bite it's probably going to go flying up, like a bit of a pendulum, so I kind of put that on the back just to sort of secure the rod. So I thought the take was going to be quite violent. Position myself to the side so I got a good angle onto the spot, and I just stood there waiting. And I waited for about 10 minutes, I think it was. I was kind of watching the odd fish coming through, the odd sort of carp, the odd tench drifting in on the spot. They were grazing a little bit on it, so I was feeling really confident, and I think it was just a matter of time. So I've been watching the spot for a while and started to get itchy feet, so I thought I'd back off a bit from the front of the swim, try and take my mind off of things, and hopefully, when I wasn't expecting it, the rod was going to go. That's what I hoped anyway. Bloody hell, that won't happen quick. Shit, he's woken up now.
definitely a fishery saw. It's not a bad one. Oh, he's in. Fucking branch just smashed me in the back of the leg. He's not a unit, but he's a fish. Get in. I'll do that. A couple more down there. Job's a good one. It's an old whaley looking double, that.
So, the fantastic cameraman that I am, I forgot to turn on my new mic when doing this video, so unfortunately, the video had no audio. But as you can see, it's a awesome old scaly looking mirror. It's got some nice scales on the side. The other side was a little bit more of a leather really. But yeah, I was well happy. Not a monster, £15.8, but it was a nice fish and went off the spot and saved the blank up to this point. So yeah, I was really happy.
Here's a little guy who stalked off the spot. Just gone back to the van to get a gas canister. It's definitely fish out in this bit here where this weed is. There's quite a lot of fizzing coming up over here to the left. Over this sort of way. Don't know if it's carp or whether it's tench or what, but yeah, it's definitely a few fish out there. Worth remembering. But I'm pretty happy with the top end. That margin spot's doing me alright at the moment. I think I'll keep this in mind. If nothing happens tonight, I'll possibly have a little look down there tomorrow. Just to give you a bit of a lowdown on what's going on. So I did my second night, or second full night I should say, in the main swim. Nothing happened. The birds were on the spot. As soon as the light came up, the birds were back on it. They've been on the spot ever since I put bait in, so I don't think there were really many fish visiting the spot. If not, I don't think any carp did, to be honest. I had a tench yesterday which wiped out the 2 rods, so maybe the odd tench was visiting it, but other than that, I don't think anything was really having a look. So I decided this morning I sort of had something to eat, left it till sort of half 9, 10ish, and then brought the rods in and packed down pretty much. So I've come up to the stalking spot where I had that fish yesterday morning, and there's definitely a few shapes out there. I've seen a couple of tench, so you know, I could possibly end up getting one of them, but yeah, it definitely looks alright for a bite at the moment. There's definitely a few shapes out there, although like I said, it seems more like tench. But I spooked something, I think, as I was sort of trying to put the rod in place, but I've seen a tench sort of drifting at the back of the spot, just sort of past the bait. So I'm using something a bit different. Yesterday I was using a food bait, balanced. Today I thought I'd try a wafter, like a fluoro visual wafter, see if that could pick off the bite quicker. But I suppose to be fair, the bait yesterday was probably about as quick as you're going to get one, but I just thought I'd try something a little bit different. You know, they might spook off it, they might actually like it. The big common I had was on one of these wafter baits with a solid bag, and that was a similar situation. They were stirring at the bottom, they were feeding in close. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, but I'm pretty confident that that I can get a bite off of this. So there's definitely a few fish there. It could be a tench, but you know. And this is super carpy, kettle's brewing, and there's sawdust tucked in the edge. Can't get more carpy than that.
Hold on.
The line's last week on the tree.
Yeah, we might still be able to.
No, we don't. Get in. Get in.
Yeah. That was going to be some of the poorest footage.
I know. Fucking hell, the rod went mental. Oh dear. Oh, right. It's another double, I think. Watch that massive thing there, yeah. Watch out, I'll put it in the rod rest. Get in. Right then, another fish off the margin. Just on a little balanced innate tuna bait with a bit of cork, just to sort of make it into a wafter. I had a bit yellow out there, a sort of yellow wafter, and I think they were spooking off of it, so I changed it to a food bait. I've been putting about half a kilo, I think, over the past sort of 24 hours, just crumbing up baits and getting them going after having that one yesterday. There's been a few drifting back in. Unfortunately, I've had two of the smallest ones, I think, off the area, but I think the big common's been visiting the spot today. But hopefully we can get it back out and maybe get another one. This guy managed to lasso himself around a tree, which is nice of him, but managed to get him out. And yeah, what a lovely fish, lovely Cotswold carp. Lovely dark markings, they're always beautiful fish up here, so yeah, I'm really happy with that. I think he was 14.8, so about a pound small, I think, than the one yesterday, but lovely fish. So anyway, we're getting back and see if we can get another one. So I was really happy after catching that fish, but unfortunately it always comes that time when we've got to go home, and I had work the next day, so I needed to get packed up and head back. The barrow was already loaded up. All I had to do was bring in the sawn off, pack it down, and stick it on the barrow, and off I went. So anyway, I don't know if you remember this little clip, but I saw some fish the previous day feeding down near the car park, so I told Hugh about this. He did do a couple of laps of the lake, but to be honest, he did still see fish showing and fizzing up in this area amongst the weeds, so he decided to drop in here. He had a night ahead of him, so he thought it was probably the best chance he had going, considering the lake wasn't looking too productive, to be honest. There weren't many fish coming out. So he dropped into this corner, and it's just as well he did. Well, Hugh's in. filming this on my phone because the camera's in the van. I was meant to be going home, just as well I didn't. Got to see a bit of action. Solid bag gone off. Does it feel like a tench or? Don't know, mate. That could be carp, you know.
Could be a bit of weed on it.
I think that's a carp, isn't it? Hmm?
Drop that other rod.
Drop it, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, you got it on the ground, didn't you? It's got to be a carp on it. Yeah. No, common. Not a monster, it was a fish. Don't want to go in the net. Move. Has he gone under? That's alright now. He's in. Get in. Good job, mate. Thought you'd have one out of you.
Right then, £15 one, very, very light and common. Sean was just about to go home after his 2 days, and luckily was chatting, and this very dumpy, lively, angry £15 one common has rattled off in a little PVA bag into the weed. Nice little yellow waft on. Filled the bag with a little bit of crushed out innate baits, boilies in it. I think it's mainly the tuna, a bit of nut in there. And as usual, they love it up here. So very, very happy. Means I can sleep well tonight. As usual, nice dark back. Almost scale perfect.
Yeah, lovely condition.
Yeah. Absolutely nailed.
Gulp. So I'm sure you'll agree it is an awesome looking common. I think he was pretty made up with that capture. So from there on I made haste and headed back home. I had to get back, I had to go to work the next day. So Hugh got the rods back out. He stayed in that swim for the night. Unfortunately he didn't have anything else. Although the next day while I was in work in the morning, I had a text from him to say he'd gone up to the top to have another look at the stalking spot, which I'd had the 2 fish off the day before. And there were a few fish on there, so I told him get a rod on it, and try and have one, which is exactly what he did. So there we go then. £27.5. It was Hugh's biggest fish out of the lake, and I think he was well happy off of the stalking spot. After watching them, putting a bit more bait and getting them going again. I think it's one of the fish that was visiting the area the day before, which I'd seen, along with the big common, but I think this fish is known to go over £30, but it was down a bit in weight, I think. But I don't think he was too bothered. He was still well happy with it. You can't beat catching a fish like that off a margin spot, especially when you get to watch the fish take the hook bait. I know it was a bit of a milestone for Hugh. I believe it was his
PB stalked fish, not overall PB, but his personal best fish he's had stalking. So he was obviously more than made out with it. So it was a good session, good few sessions we had, and we couldn't wait to get back. So that's the end of update 5. Thanks for watching the video. If you do like it, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. To follow the previous episodes, then they're shown on your screen now. Give them a click and have a look at those. Until next time, tight lines, and we'll see you again soon.